Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess with So Many Creations, and in this video I'm going to walk you through putting in a zipper overlay just like this. I include this in a lot of my patterns. I have a lot of samples right here. Christy, for instance, I know Margie has one. This is the brand new Daisy. I have one inside and out. It's in a lot of my bags. I use them all the time because I think they add not only a little extra structure, but just a little extra something, a little wow factor. I think they take our bags from looking homemade to handmade. They look more professional. So if you've been wanting to add a zipper overlay and you're just not sure where to start, I thought I would do a separate video. That way you don't have to go through all of the tutorials that I have to try and find one. You'll have it right here, nice and quick and easy and separate. So I'm going to grab my supplies. We're just going to do a little mock-up today. It won't be on an actual bag, but I'll show you how to put one in. And once you see how easy it is, I think you're going to add them to your next bag. On the website, which I'll drop right here for you, I have available SVG files. Those are cutting files. So if you have a cutting machine of any kind, whether it is a laser like I have, a scan and cut, a Cricut, a Silhouette, the list goes on, and you would like to cut your zipper overlays on your machine, I have an SVG file that you can purchase for that. If that's not doing it for you, I also have acrylic templates available. If you want to buy the set of 4, you can do that as well. That's going to give you 4 different shapes in the same size. And in this video, I'll show you how you can adjust those so that if you need something bigger or smaller, you can do that. And if you don't want either one of those, you can very easily just sketch out one, cut it with your ruler and rotary cutter, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and put in a zipper overlay. If you like videos like this, don't forget to click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give it a thumbs up. Let's go zip some things. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how I put in an overlay if I'm working on cork for the outside of my bag, or if I'm making a pocket on the inside with waterproof canvas. So this Daisy right here, I use the same technique for adding the overlay and finishing the pocket, which I will show you as well for the outside as well as in here. And that's because I used waterproof canvas. Waterproof canvas essentially doesn't fray. You can get a little bit of, I call it like fuzz on the edge, but it's definitely not like cotton, where cotton fabric, you can, pull your little fibers off. So you want to use this technique that I'm going to show you first with anything that doesn't fray. If you want to add an overlay to an interior cotton pocket or even an exterior cotton pocket, you can, and I do have one to show you. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be kind of similar. So I'll show you how I do both of those. This is just my technique. I'm sure there are others out there, but this is just kind of how I do it and how I like finishing my pockets. So the supplies I have here, this is going to be my outside front of my bag. So it would be this piece right here. Obviously this is just a demo piece, but we're going to pretend that this is my prepped and ready to go outside piece. I have some cotton fabric without interfacing for the pocket itself. Even though I have a heavy duty machine, I still line my pockets with regular cotton without interfacing. That's, again, just my preference. I have my zipper here. I have my rotary cutter, scissors, my marking tool. I've got a ruler, and I've got my double-sided tape. Now, as far as the overlay is concerned, I do have on the website an SVG file that's going to give you all 4 of these shapes. They are all the same size, so they are 7 1/4 inches wide in total for a 6-inch opening. And I'll show you how you can kind of adjust those. On your cutting machine, I won't be able to demo that because every cutting machine is a little bit different, but I'll show you with the acrylic templates I have here how it's actually pretty easy to do if you wanted a larger or smaller overlay. So I have acrylic templates available as well if you need those. And if I have a pattern like Daisy, or I think Margie and Christy, there's several of them that I've used an overlay and written it into the pattern, I do also give you the template in there, and you can make your own as well. So the inside of this is 6 inches wide, but it's a 1/2 inch high. That is my standard. A lot of people like to make wider ones, or taller, I should say, like 3/8 of an inch or a little bit bigger if they're doing number 5 zippers. I just use 1/2 inch for everything. That's just kind of how I like to do it. So first things first, let me get some things out of the way here. I'm just going to grab an overlay. That's going to be the one that I'm going to put on here. And you know what? it's a holiday. I'm gonna make it easy on myself. I'm doing a straight one because it's actually a little bit easier to sew. So first thing I'm gonna do is, according to my pattern, there's gonna be a measurement, and that measurement is, generally speaking, going to be centered, and it's gonna measure to the top of the overlay. So I'm just gonna find my center here, make a little mark, and I'm gonna place my overlay wherever the pattern is telling me. And this pattern is gonna tell me it's 1 inch down. So I'm just going to put one of my lines on the center. My overlay is going to be placed in the center 1 inch down because that's what my hypothetical pattern says. Whatever the pattern is telling you, just make sure that you kind of follow that because we wouldn't want it to be too close to the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some double-sided tape. I just have 1/8 inch here. You can use whatever you like, but if I'm using 1/8 inch, I can kind of put it in the middle and hopefully I won't sew through it, or at least not too much of it, and then I don't have to worry about gumming up my needle. If I do, I can always use an alcohol wipe or get a new one. But if we can try to avoid that, why not? So I've got my double-sided tape on there. The other thing I'm gonna do, grab a different marking tool, is I like to find the center of my overlay as well, because 7 1/4 is not an easy number to divide in half. So I just like to make a little mark. If you want, you can also mark on the back and you can use that to line everything up, just as long as you know where the center of this piece and your overlay are. Just gonna go ahead and take off my paper. Okay, now I lined up this line right here on the center, and there's my center line of the overlay. So I'm just gonna put that there and just press that down. Okay, so there's how that's looking so far. So at the machine, I'm going to stitch on the outside and only the outside because we need to kind of tack this down and then we will address the inside and the zipper. So at my machine, I'm going to sew 1/8 of an inch all the way around the outer edge. I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the next part. So I've stitched all the way around the outside. I just did the outer edge, and now what I'm going to do is make a space for the zipper. So this is different from your cotton type of pocket because we are not sewing a separate piece of fabric into this. I used to do it that way, but I discovered that I actually kind of like it better without fabric, and I kind of do the fabric last. So what I'm doing now is just kind of trimming around the outside, and you can trim from the front or the back. It really doesn't matter. I usually start at the front, and by the time I get to a corner, I feel like it's time to turn it over. I don't know why, but I just kind of do. But I want to get my scissors in between the cork, that's the front of the bag, and the overlay, because I'm not trimming the overlay. So I just kind of run my scissors in there. From the back, I can see where the stitching is, so I know that that's my cutoff. I don't want to go beyond that. And this is not the neatest, cleanest technique because it doesn't have to be. Nobody is going to know if your zipper opening is kind of sloppy as long as it looks good from the front. And the tape, of course, is kind of holding everything in, so I'm just kind of getting my scissors in there. And I'll just keep on trimming. I care what it looks like from the front, not from the back. The back really does not make a difference. As long as I don't cut my overlay, I'm good to go. This is the sacrifice that you make for putting the tape in the middle. It makes cutting a little bit harder, but it makes it so that you're not sewing through the tape. So you gotta make a sacrifice somewhere. Okay, so that's how it looks from the back, but that's how it looks from the front. Perfect, exactly the way that I want it. So I'm gonna go back here, right to the back, and I'm going to add some more tape to hold my zipper in place. Some people put their tape on their zipper. I always put it on the piece I'm sewing itself. I don't know why. I know that if you do it this way, it's kind of far enough away from the stitches, but it's hard to break this habit because I've always done it this way. So I just kind of keep doing it like that. So there's that. All right. One more time, take the paper off. All right, now I'm not gonna sew this next part. I'm just gonna show you how it goes together. I have my machine kind of over there and it's just awkward to get to. So I have my zipper right side up. I have my zipper pull on the left so it opens left to right. Apparently that's correct. I don't know if it actually matters, but it matters to a lot of people. So just placing that on there. All right, my zipper is much longer than it needs to be, so I will trim it when I'm done sewing. For right now, I'll trim just a little bit off so it's not hanging off the edges. It'll just look nice and presentable for you. All right, you can also grab a lighter and singe your edges, keep things from unraveling. All right, so my tape is holding that in. I'm ready to go. I can head back to the machine and stitch just on the inside, and that's it. My zipper is in place. My pocket is almost done. So the way that I finish this now, so imagine that this is the front of this bag. It's sewn, the zipper is sewn in place, everything's ready to go. In order to finish it, because we need a backing, we need to be able to reach in and see a fabric so that our things are not just flying all over the place. Without that, basically our stuff could go anywhere in the bag and we don't want that. I take a piece of cotton, uninterfaced cotton or something lightweight because I don't want to add too much bulk to the seams, and I place them both right side up. So my fabric is right side up and my outside is right side up. This essentially should be the same size. I just grabbed a scrap, but once I have that in place, I stitch all the way around the outside, trim off any of the excess, and now when I open up my zipper, I've got my fully lined pocket. So this is the same technique that I use anytime I have cork on the outside or I have waterproof canvas on the inside. But what if you want to add a zipper overlay and you're working with cotton? Let's try that one out. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. I have a rough little demo piece here. If I had not salvaged this from another bag, I would have done it slightly differently, and I'll show you why. But I was just kind of taking this apart from a bag that never got finished, and why waste a perfectly good zipper that I could use for a demo? So let's say that I am putting in a bound pocket, like a bound buttonhole style pocket, your typical sew this piece to this piece, right sides together, pull it through, cut it, the whole 9 yards. If we're doing that kind of pocket, either on the outside or on the inside of a bag, we have to make sure the cotton doesn't fray. So that's why we have to use a different technique. We can't do the stick the fabric from behind kind of a technique. So what I've done here, and I'm not gonna walk through all of the steps of putting in a zipper. I do have a lot of videos on it. I'll link one up here that is specifically on zippered pockets that will walk you through and kind of help you out with that. And any of my older patterns or any patterns that I have cotton inside, I have used this technique. So what I've done is I've gone through the first couple of steps of adding in this piece of fabric. I have drawn the box. I drew the box on the interfacing side. I put this piece right sides together. I sewed around. I cut the center line, cut my V's, and I pulled this fabric to the back. I pressed, I put my zipper in place, and I top stitched. And then I stopped, because before I close up this pocket, this would be my opportunity to add an overlay. So I would just grab whatever overlay I want and place it right on here. Go ahead and stitch around the outside and the inside of the overlay. You could also do this before you add the zipper, and you could do kind of the same technique where you sew the outside, you would be catching this pocket as well, then put your zipper in and then just sew it once. Either or, it really doesn't make a difference. But here is the one thing that I would do differently if I was starting from scratch. This opening is a 1/2 inch. When we added it on to here, we added it first and then we cut out the center. When we're doing it this way, whether there's a zipper already in or not, this opening is also a 1/2 inch. And sometimes, because it's fabric and it can be pressed a little bit off, that fabric will show through. And so for me, that is something that I would not care for, especially on the outside of a bag. To see any of that fabric peeking through would kind of make me batty. I wouldn't like it. So what I would do, this would be me for the next one, is I would make this width probably 6 1/4, give myself a little extra room this way so that I don't have to worry about those ends showing through. And as far as the height, I might bump that up to 3/8 of an inch, give myself a little extra in that direction as well. That way, when I place this on, I don't have to worry about anything showing through. So in a perfect world, this is 100%. I love it. It's great. I've stuck it down. It's all sewn in place. Now the only thing left to do is to close up my pocket like I normally would, sew my bottom and top together, sew my edges, and I'm good to go. So that is the basics of putting in an overlay. Now, I mentioned before that there is a way that you can adjust these depending on the size zipper that you're looking for. So obviously you can adjust the width if you want to. If you want to play in your scan and cut, your Cricut, whichever you're working with for the SVG file, you can absolutely play around and enlarge these or make them smaller, however you would like. But if you're using, let's say, the acrylic template, because that's an easy one to kind of show you. If you're using this or even a paper template included in a pattern, what happens if I want this opening to be 5 inches instead of 6, or I want it to be 7 inches instead of 6? There is a center line right here. And what I would suggest doing is laying this down on your cork, kind of doing your first half right here and tracing around the inside as well, and then moving this over wherever it needs to be so that you can lengthen it, and then continuing your lines and continuing your center. You want to make it smaller, you're just going to scoot it over a little bit. So have some, kind of marks to work with on your cork. That way you can see where you want it to be, and you can move this over, make it longer or make it shorter. It's actually pretty simple to do. Don't overcomplicate it. You definitely can handle that. All right, so that was zipper overlays in a nutshell. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I'll drop my email and my website down below. If you like videos like this, don't forget to click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much.